Welcome to Module 4 of the Self-Love Activation course, and we're talking self-care. In Modules 1, 2 and 3, we've had a very intense look at everything you had to do, your responsibilities. We've added a little bit of meaning to them by tying them in to your values so that at least now you know why you're doing what you're doing. But we haven't as yet focused on what gives you pleasure. I'm contrasting your to-dos now with recovery. And I would like for you to prioritize your recovery as much as you prioritize your to-dos. So let's have a look at this. In our busy lives, we often live in reaction instead of in creation. Now that is when you prioritize the urgent over the important. But if you're always dealing with the urgent, now when is it that you get to do the important stuff? And this is what I would like for you to start diving into. And to start off with, I've got a question for you. What are the things that you just know that you have to do to feel good about your day, your week? Here are some ideas. Take a walk, cook, read, spend time in nature, exercise, connect with a loved one, take care of your pet, listen to music, do something creative like playing an instrument, cooking, painting, writing, take a bath. Now on page 7 of your workbook, I'm inviting you to pick just 3 things. How does just thinking about these things make you feel? Relaxed, joyful, at peace. Fill in this sentence. When I, and then you state your activity, I feel. So an example could be, when I spend time in nature, I feel connected, inspired, and relaxed. What so often happens is that we prioritize the to-dos over our pleasure, over our recovery. And what happens is that we run out of fuel. We are not refueling our batteries if we only do what we have to do. And that when we don't do what we want to do, we might not be doing what we want to do because we don't feel we deserve to indulge. But let me just tell you that not only do you deserve to indulge, it's actually vital that you do so because you recharge your batteries, you recover from the stress of your to-dos, and you input something so much better that will keep you joyful and that will keep your batteries going. So often we treat our lives, our days, our weeks, whatever, a bit like a marathon, don't we? We think we have to go, 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 and it can seem like an endless battle of getting through the day. We should, however, look at it more as a sprint, right? A sprint, you put all your power into a short burst of energy, and then you recover. So what I would like for you to start thinking about is, how can I build in recovery activities in my life so that I get to recover energy from having spent it on my to-dos? So go back to your workbook, page 7, and schedule in 3 recovery activities in your week. They don't have to take hours, although they might. What you now have to do is to commit to doing them, come rain, come shine. When you schedule them, you're more likely to actually do them. They'll provide you with something to look forward to, so you won't be as tempted to eat a whole lot of chocolate to be able to cope with everyday life. You'll know that you'll be rewarding yourself at certain times. No excuse is good enough to avoid doing them. If you haven't got the time, be generous with yourself and gift yourself the time. It's extremely generous to gift yourself something which you haven't got a lot of. If you've got a lot of it, it's not so generous. So here are some examples. You could write down, I will go to the library on Monday at 5 p.m. Or I will take a delicious bath Wednesday at 9 p.m. Or I will call Clara on Sunday at 10. Make sure that your recovery activities aren't useful. What I mean by that is, if they serve a purpose, well, then they're just creating more to-dos, aren't they? They're not actually recovery. So an example would be if you said, I will connect to nature by weeding the front garden. Well, that would just be another thing, another to-do, creating more of this to-do. It's useful, but it's not recovery. So you could say, well, if I weed the garden now, then I can get to relax later. And you might, but so often later never comes around. Also, you could be saying, I'll weed the garden so that I get to plant the roses. And of course, it's lovely to plant some roses, but then that would be your recovery activity. It wouldn't be the weeding. Do you see what I mean? Also, you could be saying, I want to cook or bake a cake so that my friends who are coming around later will get to enjoy it. Well, that is all wonderful, but it's not recovery because recovery is something you do just for you. So it could be baking a cake and you don't have to eat it all yourself. You can choose to share it. But you see the difference if you're doing it to nourish yourself, and I don't mean with the cake, nourish yourself emotionally and spiritually. Well, then that is a whole different game, isn't it? So what we're doing here is creating a self-care schedule. If you're feeling stress at home or at work, you can fit in mini recovery sessions that don't have to take any longer than 2 to 5 minutes. So let's take a look at that. These mini recovery activities could include listening or dancing to a favorite song, making a call to a loved one, keeping it short, stroking your pet, meditating, reading a poem, eating a piece of fruit mindfully, walking up 3 flights of stairs, or watering your plants. Now you can go ahead and create your very own mini recovery activity library. And please don't just dive into these activities like 1 second before you're ready to blow up. The idea is that you schedule them in regularly through the day, these mini recovery activities, so that you get to recharge your batteries to avoid that feeling of being run down. And throughout the week, you will have scheduled in some of these longer recovery sessions that you gift yourself because you feel you deserve them. So if you find a little bit of guilt coming up here, guilt from spending valuable time or resources on yourself, I've got a few deeper going questions for you on page 8 in your workbook. So take the time to sit quietly now and answer this. What is this recovery activity preventing me from doing? It could be that it's preventing you from loading the dishwasher or getting the clothes ready for the children. What is it allowing me to do and feel? It is allowing you, perhaps, to be creative and to feel joyful. If I truly loved myself, which would I choose? If you were advising a friend what would you tell this person to do? Go on, say, what would you say to a friend? Would you tell her to, yes, please fill in your day with a lot more to do so that you get to feel really indispensable and valuable through your activities? Would you? I don't think so. I think you would invite that friend to take care of herself. And that is what you would be doing if you allowed yourself to love yourself to the point of gifting you enough recovery so that you can be functioning as best as possible. So think about it. Are you willing to love yourself that much? I'll see you in Module 5.